Imagine being able to discover the keys to grabbing someone's interest so strongly that you turn into unforgettable picture entering a chamber, and rather than disappearing into the "you are the one in charge of her" crowd, concentrate on her feelings and ideas, as if it were a dream. But here's the truth about human psychology provides you the advantage to turn your dream into reality. Reality, and no, it has nothing to do with playing games or manipulating others, is what appealing to ingrained desires and emotional cues that inherently attract people in this guide who are closer will disclose psychological ploys to influence her enamored with you right away, demonstrating how subtle words, acts and behaviors can create a relationship so strong that these aren't merely tricks, they're nearly magnets. They are tactics supported by science that conform to human inclinations. If it's giving her a sense of worth, generating interest, or producing moments of enduring feeling, these methods that are effective. Wonders are curious about how psychology works. Strategies that cause people to become fixated on. You have the option to alter how you connect. Reading, as the following observations, will use your knowledge of attraction to the next level. The first one, first place. Adorable embarrassment's irresistible charm, a psychological ploy to win people over. The undeniable charm of cute humiliation as a psychological ploy to triumph. 10% of our lives are influenced by our hearts. Approximately 90% of our reactions to Charles R. Swindoll's humiliation is a feeling we all experience. But how we manage it might change an awkward circumstance into a lovely instance of relationship, rather than withdrawing into refusing to acknowledge the incident, or accepting your humiliation with a sense of humor and authenticity has the power to captivate others. You're not simply cute. You're a magnetic pull that attracts individuals nearer the covert chuckle at imagine that someone asks you this. Do you ever browse Instagram? Accounts devoted to individuals much like you. Your reaction when you're depressed. You laugh and say, "Of course, who would not require a little reminder that I am amazing?" This small act of humor that belittles oneself turns the storytelling rather than discomfort create a star-studded atmosphere of shared laughter. For instance, consider Pedro Pascal, a beloved performer renowned for his charm and wit. When asked in a live interview if he's Nathan Fillion, Pedro truly stumbled. Considering what he said, "I believe Nathan. In my heart, Fillion is me," because rather than becoming alarmed, he chuckled at his personal flub, rapidly changing into a possibly transforming an awkward moment into an engaging one. His co-stars couldn't contain their laughter. And the audience loved him even more for his. According to authenticity psychologists, displaying vulnerability in a playful makes us relatable by indicating those with whom you're in contact, self-aware and self-assured, by accepting the sporadic mistakes you make social divides, and foster a feeling of shared humanity makes it useful in 3 short steps. Advice. If you trip over it, take it right away. IGN. Either drop your coffee or use your words. Know it with a sense of humor. A quick guess: my coffee required more care than I did. Transforms an uncomfortable slip into a humorous story. Reroute attention. Favorably shifts the emphasis on laughing together rather than moping. Say like, "Well, that's one way to," when making an entrance. Keep in mind the larger picture errors do not define who you are. Humanize them by accepting them as chances to demonstrate resilience. Watch this space as we identify other tendencies that give you an enticing personality, and recall that Eleanor Roosevelt stated that no one can diminish your self-esteem without your consent takes control of your peculiarities, possibly the second superpower you possess. Second place. Secret weapon. Make ordinary situations funny. Everyday moments are magnified by a secret weapon. into "Have you ever caught yourself laughing?" a point at which the mood feels too boring and you only want to sprinkle some happiness or hear someone chuckle, but no, whatever you say, it simply falls flat. Master, here's a golden nugget for you. The skillful use of exaggeration. Exaggeration is among the easiest methods to captivate interest and spark. Why do you laugh? Because it requires normal situations and turns them into something extremely creative, and unexpectedly, the secret became so extravagant that it cannot be taken seriously by anyone, and it's where the magic takes place. Consider expressing to a friend how much, what you and another person have in common. Rather than being plain, "We get along well." You could say something like that. "We're getting married next week." What occurs next? Probably an explosion of giggling, or at least a broad grin, because your audience will notice you right now. Understands that you're not being sincere. You've twisted a fundamental fact. It into the domain of ridiculousness, generating amusement throughout the procedure. From an exaggeration from a psychological perspective, appeals to our natural love of surprise. The human brain is insatiably curious, especially when something very unexpected is heard by it. Benefits up. It's the ideal formula for renowned as a master of wit, Mark Twain. As they once said, humor said, "Never let the truth interfere with a good story." The truth is not distorted by embellishment. It intensifies it, making ordinary moments becoming ones that will never be forgotten. First, how can you use this on a daily basis? Discussions focus on the saying that you've just gone through an agonizingly lengthy meeting, rather than complaining that the conference lasted much too long. At the conclusion of that encounter, I felt like I was 10 years old. Years in relation to universal comedy about challenges is most effective when it brings us together through a shared struggle, such as waking up, getting out of bed, and accentuate the fact that I struggled with gravity this good morning. And allow me to explain gravity. Nearly one, add a pinch of self-loathing burning dinner rather than just acknowledging it. I'm not saying. Even though my food is poor, the fire alarm continues to calling to offer my congratulations, because the pro-tip balance is almost finished with the meal. Exaggeration is most effective when utilized appropriately and sparingly. Too much context can weaken its charm. The objective is to improve the "when finished," the conversation won't overshadow it. Indeed, you will not simply receive amusement you're trying to achieve, but you'll also produce tales that people will recite and remember. Consequently, the next time you're looking for a way, reach for the magic to brighten the gloom. Of hyperbole, a straightforward technique that not only makes things funnier, but it also relationships attract attention and depart an impression that others will remember. Because life is too brief to be routine, why not distort the facts to make it remarkable quantity? Third, the obsessed psychological trick. Make use of everyday narratives. 3 psychological tricks that the obsessed use standard. Have you ever observed in stories how some people may easily captivate a space? It's not magic, but rather the strength of storytelling with the use of relatable, captivating stories that you can change commonplace discussions into, "Let me show you some unforgettable memories." I recall one particular instance when I was bringing up a job with a friend. She inquired about the opportunity I had just landed. I began to explain what kind of profession it is. The title is for this superhero film. Iron is the protagonist of the film, and before I could, she almost screamed Iron Man at the end. Fourth, her enthusiasm was tremendous and infectious. Even then, I became aware of how these Marvel tales struck a strong chord with individuals. What started out as a casual hours of talk evolved into lively discussion around our favorite storyline twists and characters. And that's storytelling's power, is a bridge, an instant of mutual connection. Specifically, how can you use this to make your own magnetic charm, the components of an unforgettable? Your superpower is your ability to relate to stories. People relate to things that are familiar. Select tales that are universally relatable. Finds their first date nerve-wracking, a surprising turn in one's career, or a amusing recollection from your youth when the narrative feels both universal and personal, attracts people. Create tension with ease while maintaining it. Naturally, don't reveal all of your UPF. The features in the front hint to something, like you won't believe what transpired. Upcoming, or have you already been in a circumstance in which everything went wrong, quickly turned upside down when you continue to? They're assuming you'll keep them. Brevity is your best friend when it comes to listening. A fantastic story doesn't go on forever. Pay attention to the highlights and cut the think of it like making a movie, fluff. Trailer that isn't a full-length movie that ends with a joke or an important lesson that endures. Participate with your audience. Don't intentionally make it one way. Monologue. Pose queries such as, Have you ever encountered something similar to this? Or, in my position, what would you have done? These instances transform listeners into participation and increase their financial commitment in your narrative. A change in perspective for magnetic discussions on the value of storytelling isn't merely for amusement in other. When you connect, you share you're inviting folks into a story. You claim that this is a piece of your world. What about who I am? Here's the trick. Variation never fails. Fresh doesn't use the same standard. Instead, use anecdotes to develop a repertoire. Story toolbox. Rotate and adapt your tales them to various circumstances and consistently go ahead and leave your audience wanting more. Tell your tale now. You might be shocked by how it changes not just how people see you, but how you look at yourself. Number 4, and use an inquisitive fourth. Make use of an intriguing opening statement. First sentence, the strength of an unquestionably. This is an intriguing opening. When you set an example that inspires people's curiosity, makes them lean in and want to learn more about these two tried-and-true psychological ploys, to increase your tales that are not just unforgettable but completely enthralling, one of the upsides. Imagine launching with a startling revelation, only to turn it into a surprising benefit, such as when I was fired and it proved to be the greatest thing that ever have the experience of missing a flight. And then an astonishing thing transpired. I was completely humiliated in front of 200 individuals, but that particular brought about positive changes in my life. Adore a twist since it causes them to expectations, which prompts them to inquire, wait, how? Did that work out? It attracts them, like a magnet drawn into your story, ready to listen to the other two. Perhaps I shouldn't tell you that nothing activates this hook. Curiosity more quickly than a hint of secrecy or hesitancy. Something very crazy occurred yesterday, and I'm not certain if I ought to share it. I hadn't intended to discuss this, but you won't believe it. However, this strategy draws on our natural curiosity to learn more. It's similar to giving someone a secret. They must figure out how to use these on a daily basis. Imagine this in your life. You're at a party, and what do you do for a living? Someone asks. Rather than the usual, I'm an, you say you wouldn't believe it, accountant. How to get I once found in WI accounting myself in the middle of a business scandal, or when a casual inquiry is made, I assumed it would be about your weekend. A dreary weekend, followed by an exciting event. Let me tell you what happened at the park. Regarding it, these opportunities are more than they serve as conversation starters and bridges to connection and trust by being transparent, are somewhat exposed and taking you by surprise, encourage others to delve further connection. It's not simply about what you share it by framing and wrapping your facts about curiosity, feelings and surprise. Keep in mind that narrative isn't merely for amusement, it's about establishing moments that have the most resonance. Stories do more than merely captivate audiences, they create them. Feel number 5. Chase, the laughing fifth. The laughter chase. Creating magical connections out of moments. Transforming ordinary moments into magical relationships. Consider transforming an average moment into one that will never be forgotten, not because to what you stated, but due to. The way you make someone feel is what the core of a psychological strategy. I like to refer to the laughing as chase. Surprisingly straightforward, but profoundly influential. When people laugh together, a light, amiable gesture such as a light tap on the arm can increase trust, bring happiness, and depart a memorable impression. Visualize this as you're at the beach, laughing with someone, jokingly highlighting the ways in which you've utterly destroyed her sandcastle. You smile. Masterpiece. That's all. I suppose we'll have to begin. She seemed a little annoyed over there. You lightly caress her forearm and cheek. Reassure them that I'll fight off the invaders and reconstruct this location, using a for you. Powerful Cannon's laughter enhances that fleeting light touch paired with your sense of humor. Doesn't just note when M solidifies it as warm, sincere and not to be forgotten. When combined with natural, deliberate motions, laughter communicates your subconscious, tells you that this place is safe. We're sharing this moment with you. Touching the forearms together is effective. With people they know, some people might like whimsical elements that some people could find more appealing conversational interactions. To establish a rapport with the awareness is crucial, so pay attention to their do they lean forward and smile in return, or you're on the right track if you reflect your energy. Correct track now. Picture getting to know someone as you share a joke gesturing at a party. Wildly as you shout, and that's the reason I will never attempt baking again. If they chuckle, the kitchen is still healing, and balance the energy you contribute with a gentle pat on their arm, being cautious now. Don't fall in love with me because of this. There's laughter, and you haven't simply made a joke and produced a connection. Mastering the chuckle, chase implies more than just taking part in it's about creating an experience at the moment. That persists for a while, where someone believes that I would like to spend more time with. Particular individual, as Mark Twain famously stated, nothing can withstand the attack of laughter, can tolerate letting humor be your ally. Observe how walls fall down and trust grows. And maybe a little magic sixth. Redirecting attention has a powerful effect. Reveals number 6. The strength of redirecting. Have you ever pondered why you need attention? Certain conversations have a magnetic quality. There is a question that others fail to answer. Piques interest, doesn't it? Here's the true, drab conversations frequently result because avoid using surface-level, predictable conversation. Master the conversational quicksand skill of somewhat refocusing attention that gives people a sense of worth and profoundly linked. This is more than just a social ability. It's almost a superpower. Let's make it a reality. An illustration rather than asking, "Do you like?" Try drawing, "I heard you enjoy." What motivated you to begin drawing? You possess a piece that has a unique meaning. Significance to you. Do you perceive that this method makes a greater impact than scratch the door's surface if it opens? Encouraging them to share a story with you by directing attention to a portion of themselves, returning to the other individual, you make a captivating force that causes them to feel, actually gratefully hitting the strike. A balance between listening and active listening is effective when shared. But here's the twist. A discussion in which you simply nod and they gaze at. It's boring that you act like a moving doll. The key is to create your own insights into the conversation. Share a portion of your life to create a bridge between, for example, mutual understanding rather of inquiring about your favorite movie. Level up by identifying a film that rendered you mute or altered the way you view the. Such a query doesn't just ask as a response, it stirs feelings and brings up memories and establishes a bond. It persists long after the discussion concludes when you refocus attention using sincere interest, and openness in your presence extends beyond a single instant. Becomes a memorable gift for others, not just what you did, but how you made them feel, stated to be really interested in sharing. Your experiences emphasize emotions over the power of superficial rerouting. The goal of attention is not to control a discussion, but in making each exchange seems like a work of art of connection, make good use of this superpower. And observe the natural flow of adoration complies with number 7. Show generosity with number 7. Give a lot of compliments, praises. An authentic praise can brighten someone's whole day. It possesses the ability to not just lift their spirits, but additionally to establish a long-lasting emotional bond when you give someone sincere praise. They unconsciously link the favorable emotions that your words arouse with. But here's something important to recognize, that not every compliment is made equal, and the key is particularity and genuine general praises, such as "you're friendly, intelligent, and pleasant," but simple to overlook. Instead, concentrate on the, for instance, generic "you're fantastic," at your handling of that had an impact on your work. Dealing with the client so patiently and the level of precision was astounding, as evidenced by your genuine leadership abilities. This method not only makes your praises appear more genuine, while also emphasizing the individual's distinctive traits that make it much more enduring. It's similar to tapping into the core of their advantages and seeing something in them amazing. Let's move on to the real world. Scenario to make this come to life. Picture. At the dinner party you're at, the host has made every effort to produce a stunning greetings atmosphere. Instead of merely stating, "This is fantastic," take a moment to delve further and thank you for your effort. Try this method. The rustic candles have been paired with the scent of fresh flowers is so cozy. Welcoming environment. You have an amazing sense of design that you possess. Done here goes beyond simply providing a praise that you've acknowledged their endeavor, recognized the distinctiveness of their fashion sense, and commended something that used their expertise to select. It's more than a remark. It's a recognition of their compliments on their creative spirit are a social currency in the event that you create. Someone who is pleased with themselves, they are more likely to experience favorable sentiments about you in a potent manner to establish a connection and create significant connections in a society that frequently emphasizes charity and self-promotion. Genuine, targeted praises set you. It demonstrates that you see individuals for who they are. The fact that they actually are will make you not just respected, but also admired. 8th. Playful narcissism, an art form. Number 8. The art of play. We've all come across narcissists. Their enormous egos allow them to dominate They enter the room, but have you ever considered changing the script and posing as one of them for the sole purpose of fun? Consider a situation in which you overstate your significance so crazily that it becomes clear you're making a joke, which makes others laugh, and picture this situation at a connection. The audience of a corporate talent show gets to cast a ballot for the judges when a colleague is overjoyed to have been selected as the second judge. "This is a dream come true," she says. "It's true that I did cry. I truly did." Comment in an overly grave tone. Tone well. I recently won a judgeship. Chapter 1. Realizing the ultimate dream of my existence. The playful exaggeration makes it obvious that you're making fun of the circumstances that led to imagine everyone laughing out loud. This, while someone was speaking, has a distinct viewpoint that catches you off guard rather than maintaining your respect for yourself. You say, "Wow, I've never considered it that way. Totally altered my viewpoint." you resemble a Ted Lasso in real life, hopeful and completely encouraging. This type of recognition not only causes the other individual to feel appreciated, but also raises you in their eyes. So tell me the formula's secret. All about harmony. Add a blend of light-hearted humor that makes fun of oneself and genuine generosity. These small gestures demonstrate your self-assurance without becoming conceited and self-aware, but not selfish. Let's not overlook the timing is crucial. Save your comedy for occasions where the tone seems natural, is light, and people are willing to listen. Combine it with genuine moments of relationship, and you'll develop into the type of someone that other people want to spend time with. Here's a challenge for you to try. Next meeting, to consciously acknowledge, in a sense, someone's work or inventiveness that seems particular and intimate. Then, when the time is appropriate, give a little. For example, adding a fun ego into the mix after praising a colleague's wonderful project concept. You may say, "And here I believed I was the business's imaginative intelligence," observes the humor in the smiles, disarms, connects, compliments, and when these tools are used together, you really try it and see how it becomes unforgettable. People's opinions of you change, as charisma is really just the art of uplifting others in your leverage. Scarcity is the ninth presence. 9. Use scarcity to your benefit. To your benefit. Have you ever given it any thought? Why some people are captivated by nature while others fade into the background? Background. Charm and appearance are not important. It's about being present while you're always accessible. Your presence may become less allure. Consider it if you consistently don't you say yes to everything, inadvertently declining your own worth it. But here's the real deal. Scarcity produces value rather than instant. Accepting each request or proposal takes a pause for a moment and allow folks to contemplate your availability. The following time someone encourages you to go, but resist the temptation to respond with a courteous yes right away. Tell me to check my schedule so I can get returning to that slight hesitancy. It produces a wave of interest and quietly raises. Imagine spending your time with a friend who's always available, is taken for indeed, but the selective one, they are coveted and even appreciated, is about more than just playing games, demonstrating to the world that you don't have time to. As Steve Jobs stated, limitless. Since you don't have much time, don't live someone else's life and waste it. Think of your time as a valuable resource. You wouldn't give it out freely, Diamond. By appreciating the time you spend, sending a strong indication that you are not just anybody, it's worth waiting for you, and people will value you when they see that. Pause, set even more limits, and observe how the world changes. To recognize the special gem that are you becoming proficient in the art of attraction. In conclusion, is about more than just manipulation. Knowing the psychology of connection, when you show genuine concern, self-assurance, and the ability to ignite, you generate a magnetic draw with your interest. That's irresistible. Keep in mind the basis of any meaningful relationship is found in genuineness and deference. By using these psychological ploys to influence her, immediately enamored with you, you're not simply influencing her curiosity, you're establishing a connection that could to gradually deepen. But the secret obsession isn't limited to these tricks. The goal is to become the greatest aspect of yourself that attracts others. People that exude confidence and delight as you become proficient in these psychological strategies that cause people to become fixated on. You never forget that fact. Respect for one another is the foundation of attraction. And a sentimental bond. If you discovered this useful video to demonstrate your support by